Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Natasha Telger. I'm with Illinois WorkNet, located in Springfield, Illinois. And thank you for taking time out of your day to join us to learn about the work readiness tools that are available within Illinois WorkNet for your IWDS customers. Now, we do have some people that are relatively new to Illinois WorkNet, and you may be new to our webinars. So just a couple housekeeping things before we get started. Anytime you have any questions, you can enter them into the chat pod, and that's over on the left-hand side, and many of you have already started. If you want to personalize that so you stand out in the crowd, you can change the color by just clicking on the little line icon in the upper right-hand corner of that chat pod. If you have your background, and so we make sure that everybody's on the background information on the tools that are available for you and your customers. And then we'll also be taking a look, I'll be providing a short demonstration of the tools and just to show you, briefly how to navigate to those resources that are within Illinois WorkNet. At any time, if you have any trouble with towards the top, it's the 866-803-3878. But by no means are you required to call in. You can simply listen through your computer speakers. Anytime that we have a PowerPoint or I'm doing a screen share, we do have a button in the header of that pod, and it says full screen. So you can click on the button for full screen. Looks like we've had some more people joining us, and they're continuing to join us, but we're going to go ahead and get started because we have a lot of information to cover today, and I know your time was very valuable. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the next page, and we have our PowerPoint. We're going to take a look at some background information. So for those of you that are relatively new to Illinois WorkNet, you may be very familiar with the individual's information and the business pathway, but this might be a new experience for you for the workforce professionals pathway. With Illinois WorkNet, we do have basically three different types of customers: individuals, businesses, and you, workforce professionals. And so we use those pathways and individuals. A recent update has been that we've been moving towards thinking more with IWDS. And so many of you, while you may have used Illinois WorkNet, the individuals or business pathway, you recently have a new workforce professionals account. And that account was created if you are in IWDS and you have one of the case manager roles. It's created an Illinois WorkNet account for you. So I'll show you some of those resources and how to log into that in a little while. But just as a brief background information for those that are new, we do have 5 pathways to Illinois WorkNet with the individuals, business, key sectors, and disability resources. And for those that are new to the workforce professionals pathway, up in this gray bar, it says workforce professionals pathway, enter here. That's where you're going to find tools and guidance specifically for you. One of the nice things about Illinois WorkNet is tools But one of the things that's unique about workNet is that you can really customize the portal for your area. You know your area, you're the experts in your area, and you can use that local content, which would be adding in maybe some news and events, workshops, training opportunities, just kind of those hidden gems that are within your community. You can post those all through LMI WorkNet and direct your customers to LMI WorkNet so they can keep up to date and up to speed on all the resources that are in your area. We also use web services, so we're not about reinventing the wheel. We leave the experts to their expert information, and we pull it within LMI WorkNet and provide it in one location so that it's seamless to the end customer. So for example, we do use information, the labor market information, career information, that comes from the same database that with the IDS uses and maintains. So that information is pulled into LMI WorkNet and it's seamless to the end customer. We've also recently added some additional resources such as assessments. So customers that use maybe JAWS or Zoom text, they can use LMI WorkNet. It is accessible. We also have a nifty little tool that you may or may not have used before. It's called Browse Aloud. So you can use Browse Aloud throughout LMI WorkNet. And for those individuals who maybe have dyslexia or English as a second language, or maybe they just really don't want to read, they can use Browse Aloud, and Browse Aloud will read the text to them, but it will also be the information. Okay, with LMI WorkNet, you're not required to have an individual's account, but we do highly recommend it. We do recommend it because you, as a case manager, have the ability to use these online tools to work with your customers. So, for example, you can send messages to your customers. You can take a look at their skills and interests to these activities, and they have the ability to provide notes and so forth. So they also have the ability to add shortcuts. So there are different types of tools that they can use that advantages to having an LMI WorkNet individual's account. We also have resources to help people stay connected with LMI WorkNet. Like, as I mentioned before, it is a dynamic site. We are always adding new resources, making updates, working on presentation and how to make the site more interactive. So we have ways for you to stay connected. We have our newsletter that you can use, and along the top in our header we always have all the social media avenues. So there's always ways to keep in the loop. Now with LMI WorkNet, we've made a lot of updates, and that's based on usability studies, comments from our customers from the field, into a search field and search, and that's great. Some people are a clicker. They just like to click around until they find the information. And other people like more of a step-by-step guidance approach. So we try to provide different ways and organize the information so it's easy for people to find the information within WorkNet. So we do have step guides with employment guides, laid off worker, veterans assistance, and information for individuals with disabilities. And with the step-by-step guides, we use a icon-based approach and just simply literally showing you what is your next step. And within each of these categories, we have basic steps for example, updating your resume, and then those resources within those steps, they take you to the resources within LMI WorkNet. So we'll take a look at those in just a little while, but those are our step guides. We also not only do you have the ability to customize All My WorkNet for your local area through the use of local content, but if you'd like to share information or you have a best practice and resources that you use and it's not in All My WorkNet, by all means, please bring it to our attention and we can put it within All My WorkNet. Within each of these areas, we have information for preparing, helping a person finding, or preparing for their job search, I should say. We have a Learn section, which is helping individuals find training programs or find training to enhance their skills. We have the Find Jobs section, where they, just as it says, helps you with connects you to resources and multiple approaches to finding a job, not getting locked into just one method for finding a job. And then we also connect you to services that are across the state. But again, you can customize this area for local content. Now, what we've done with our latest redesign is we've color-coded each of these areas. So you'll see at the top, we have the documents, videos, and links for each of these sections. So if it's blue, we have all the documents, videos, links, so you can easily find that information within within All My WorkNet. We also have the messages, skills, activities. I see a question from Margaret Prosser, and I know that, yes, the IWDS customers are synced to All My WorkNet, and your situation was a little bit different, but I know that my programmer has worked on your sync, and so you should be able to, after this webinar, you'll be able to go into your customer groups, and you'll be able to see your synced customers. So, but I'll show everyone how to access that in just a few moments. Margaret's just ahead of the game. Okay, so some other activities that we have within All My WorkNet. We have our work readiness or employment activities, and so for each of these activities, for this section, we have an optional pre-assessment. We're also updating that pre-assessment as well to cover not just the areas, the activities that we have below, but then we're also workplace skills. We'll take a look at that as well. But I just want to give you a heads up that we are in the process of updating this pre-assessment. We have 11 activities currently, and these activities allow the individuals to save the results within their All My WorkNet account, and you as a workforce professional will be able to go into their activities and view their responses. Now, if you have a certain set of activities that you currently use, and you would like to submit those to us, we can take a look at them. What we'd like to do is get some best practice activities, and we can add additional activities or modify our existing activities to customize them for what you need that they can be used across the state. These activities that we currently have were developed originally for the Summer Youth Employment Program, and so what we've done, they were originally put out there for that program, but now they have been made as well. We also have a post-assessment with unlimited attempts, and once they complete that post-assessment with 70% or higher, then they'll be able to print a certificate of completion. And one of the nice things about having these activities is that you can print them out, you can expand. Remember, I had mentioned that All My WorkNet is accessible, so you can make it into a larger text. You can translate it into Spanish or one of the other languages if you have an individual with English as a second language. So you can easily update those activities or modify them for your customers' specific needs. I mentioned that we do have a skills and interest profiler or profilers. Those are available through WorkNet, and once your customers complete any one of these, then you as a a workforce professional will be able to view those if your customer is an IWDS customer. We also have a computer skills section, and so within that computer skills section, we have a self-survey on as far as computers are concerned. And we do understand that we do have, it's hard to believe, but we do have some individuals that are just really not comfortable using computers. And so we do have this available as a print form as well. And if you use the online form, what it'll do is it will go ahead and based on how you answer, it takes a wizard approach basically. Depending on how you answer the questions, then it will provide you with the next steps. So I'll show you in a little bit. We have a section that even if you have a person that's not familiar with a mouse or anything like that, if you can you get them started on a certain page, and I'll show you that in a little bit, the site will actually, the website that we take you to, can actually have a person that they literally start using the keyboard and it works them into using a mouse. So, but then again, we have resources for individuals that obviously have computer skills, but they just want to enhance them, whether it's like business type programs, Word, so forth, and even into providing some next steps and guidance for individuals who maybe want to go into the information technology field. So we run the gamut from Okay, so the tools for Illinois WorkNet Workforce Professionals, that's our next area that we're going to talk about. I'm going to take just a moment. You saw that there was a question. It says, how are customers assigned to their case managers? Now, the case managers that we're talking about are those that are in IWDS. So when your customers are assigned to you within IWDS, excuse me, then Illinois WorkNet will call that information, and it'll be able to recognize that if you have, person A, B, and C as your assigned customers, whenever you go into customer groups within Illinois WorkNet, then they will be assigned to you so you can access their customer groups. And we're going to talk about customer groups in just a little bit. And so the next question, that we're getting to, can other people use the website without being an IWDS? The answer is yes. Within Illinois WorkNet, everyone that has a Workforce Professionals account, let's just start from the very beginning. With a Workforce Professionals account, that is a section of Illinois WorkNet where you have to be approved. You can't just get in there and start up on the Workforce Professionals pathway, so you can request to become an Illinois WorkNet partner site. Once you're an Illinois WorkNet partner site, you can have Workforce Professionals that are assigned from your location, and they can have Workforce Professionals accounts. If you're an IWDS and you have a case manager role, then they automatically create a WorkNet account whenever you are entered into IWDS. So you automatically get one and you get notified that you have an account. Now, for those that are not in IWDS, and when we get to the customer groups, I'll show you this as well, but we have a different process. So your customers won't be automatically added to your customer groups, but you can send out an invitation to individuals and have them become part of your customer group. But if you're in IWDS and you have customers, those customers will automatically be available to you. Okay, so that was kind of before, we'll get into more details in just a moment. But on the Workforce Professionals pathway, there are many tools that are available to you, whether you're in IWDS or not. and we have company-specific layoff pages. There's all types of information that you can add to really enrich the content for your area. And we have, and to be able to add that local content, you can contact your Illinois WorkNet coordinator, and that's the information is available on WorkNet. But if you are an Illinois WorkNet partner, all you have to do is take the content management course, and you can become an author. And so what that means is when you're an author, you can go ahead and enter the information yourself, and then the editor for your local workforce investment area, they will be notified that someone has submitted some content, and they can review it. And then once they approve it, then it's posted to Illinois WorkNet the very next day, or at 1 o'clock in the morning if you want to get up and check. We also have tools that are available for reporting. And as I mentioned before, I kind of mentioned that we'll have the content management class, but we also, all of our Illinois WorkNet partners, we're in the process of updating the Certified Illinois WorkNet Advisor online course. So Mike Cook is going to be offering a webinar at the end of August that will cover all this information, but basically anyone who has a Workforce Professional account will be required bigger picture, holistic view of Illinois WorkNet, and it's just to familiarize you with the tools and the resources that are available within Illinois WorkNet. So we want to make sure that everybody understands what's available, and what we'll do is add additional modules for new tools and resources that are added. We'll also be adding a business services course, and then we're in the process of migrating our content management course as well. So that's all different types of online training, self-paced, web-based, so it's convenient for you. We have all kinds of marketing tools. The idea is that we want to make sure that the marketing message is consistent across the state, but we do want to allow you with the flexibility and the ability to customize those marketing materials for your area. So we have the general templates for the marketing materials and the look and feel, but you can definitely, customize the message, customize it with your local information as well. We provide different types of photos that you can use, graphic guidelines, artwork, and all types of things to make that easier for you. And we are also adding Okay, and as I see there's a question from Bill, does this work for WIA youth also? Most definitely. We've used Illinois WorkNet and the activities that were mentioned before for the summer youth employment programs. We're also working with our different areas on those activities were really designed for youth. And so whenever we keep this in mind, we want to keep in mind that we have adult, youth, dislocated workers, TAs. We have all different types of customers. All the changes, and that kind of gives us a good lead into this slide, all the changes that we've made, and specifically some of the resources and tools that we're adding and making information the way we present the information in the Workforce Professionals pathway a little bit differently is based on, like I said, usability studies, task force feedback, work groups, and in particular our case manager and customer workflow study. So based on the feedback are shaping Illinois WorkNet. So in particular, based on the case manager workflow study, we have a section within Illinois WorkNet. It's in the resources section, and it covers the different, we try to align the resources with and the WIA continuum of services. So we have the universal services, eligibility, suitability, registration, exit, and follow-up. And so for each of these pages, we have a page for that specific area. But then we have what we call accordions, so you can just scan the information on top and like click on it, and it'll expand the accordion so you can read the contents within that section. And this is our starting point. Again, is based on feedback and best practices from the usability study, but we do welcome and encourage you to provide feedback on that information as well. We've also added pages on a job club, some background information and guidance on using the work readiness activities, and also we have an area on assessment resources. So throughout these areas, they provide guidance, additional information that may not be available within either the individual's trying to provide you information in a variety of formats. So this is the first example that I've used so far, and it's a process flow because some people are just more visual, it's easier to see visually. And we use an image map, so for each of these areas, as you go through this process, you can click on them and it'll take you to the resources that are within LMI WorkNet, the Workforce Professionals pathway. If you might have a visual impairment or you'd just like to have a listing of this process, we also have a text version. So now with this process flow, it's not to say that this is the way you have to do it. This is just a sample process flow for, coming into class orientation, using the computer skills assessment, whether you're going to use the pre-assessment, the activities, incorporating online WorkNet into training workshops and so forth, the observational assessment and so forth. Just mouse pads, computer tutorials to attach to the monitor. Okay, quick tips. All those resources are available within LMI WorkNet on the Marketing tab. And whenever I do the demonstration, I'll show you where to find those. So we provide the artwork, and then you can order them locally. You can customize them. You can choose different photos, switch things out to speak to your specific audience and order them locally. Okay. So one of the new areas that we've been adding, and we're going to change the WorkNet. We're working on the Workforce Professionals pathway. We're preparing all the information and different links on the left-hand side, but this will become, we'll start using the tab approach, just like we do on the Individuals and Business pathway. So to prepare for that, we're going to have a My Tools tab, and some of the other tools will be migrated to this as well. But for right now, we have different types of assessments that are available that you can use. Now, the NOCTI assessment, we're working currently with our early adopters, so that's available to them, and then we'll be rolling out to the rest of the state in October for you to use the NOCTI assessment. And that is the 21st Century Skills Assessment, and that type of assessment is completed by the customer. So for those of you that aren't early adopters, expect to see that and have that available. Everybody's had great reviews about this observational assessment, and so we're offering it through LMI WorkNet as well, and it is completed by an instructor. And then we have the worksite evaluation. Now, the worksite evaluation is what we use with our summer youth employment program because they had a work experience with their program. So with the worksite evaluation, that is completed by the employer. Currently, the employer completes the information, and then the workforce professional enters it into the evaluation tool. But in the future, one of the future enhancements is to be able to offer that so the employer will be able to complete it directly online. But that's a future enhancement. Okay. Now, as Margaret had mentioned or started to talk about earlier, is with our customer group and syncing with our customer groups. Now, the customer group is the tool that we use to allow you to view assessments and activities, to send messages to your customers, and more. Now, if you're in IWDS, then within IWDS, they have an area where they assign a customer to you. If you're and then you'll see your customers. Now, you also have access to other individuals in your local workforce investment area, and that is, but they may not be assigned to you, but you can still access them in IWDS. Well, you'll still be able to access them in LMI WorkNet as well. So we have to kind of modify a little bit of this text here, but basically, whenever you click on the drop-down menu, then if you have access to adults, TAA, universal customers, if you have access to youth, whoever you have access to in IWDS, then you'll also have access to them in WorkNet. So we have it where you can filter out those people to see those that are active and registered. Actually, we're going to have to change this because also there's universal customers in here. But then also you can filter those out so you can see your exited customers. Now, one of the things that we don't have yet, that my programmers are working on this, is that you'll be able to add subgroups. Not yet, but that's what we're working on. So with the subgroup, we've had some feedback from some people that said, well, I have a group of people that are in this particular training, or they're in this job club, or, to LMI WorkNet as well. If you're not in IWDS, you won't see this section. What you'll see is an invitation group. And so whenever you do your invitation group, what you can do is you can send an invitation to an individual, or you can send an invitation if you have what I think would be the easier of the two, the most convenient, I should say, is using the group invitation. So when you use a group invitation, you can have everybody maybe in a workshop or orientation, and everybody's sitting down at the same place. You can create your group passcode, and then once you do that, you can just have it projected up on the computer screen. Everybody can enter in their URL and the passcode that you created, and once they do that, then if they don't have a WorkNet account, they'll be prompted to create a WorkNet account. Otherwise, they're just log into their LMI WorkNet account, and they're automatically added into your group. So you don't have to search for anybody. You just simply send them an invitation. They follow the directions, and they're popped right into your personal invitation group. Now, once you have all your customers, then you can click on the Customers tab, and we'll take a look at those as well. But then you also have the customer emails. So right now, whenever you send an email, it's going to go to your customer group, like your entire customer group. But with those subgroups, we'll be able to add the ability to send it to a subset of your group, and you'll also be able to set it to individuals. So it's just a way that you can send not only an email, but also you could send a message to their LMI WorkNet account. Now, I will need to back up just a moment because I didn't mention this before, is that you might be asking, well, how do my people get into when they're created in IWDS? IWDS checks with LMI WorkNet and says, does their account already exist? And if they already exist, then great. Then their IWDS account is synced with their LMI WorkNet account. If they check LMI WorkNet and the person is not there, or it can't make a match, then it will create an LMI WorkNet account for that individual. So what that means is that it's really important that whenever you're entering a person into IWDS and they have a field for their email account, which is now required, that you make sure that the email is, for one, a legitimate email, and then number two, that is correct. We've had a few instances where the email, there's a typo, and so the person didn't get their email notice to let them know that they had a WorkNet account. But you can also, print off or write down their username and temporary password so that they know how to access their Illinois WorkNet account. But whenever they're added into IWDS, then they're automatically added to your group. Okay. Now, whenever you have your customers within your Illinois WorkNet account, or within your customer group, you'll have their contact information. You'll have their name, username, date of birth, and answer to the secret question. So if you have a recover their password. First of all is if they have a valid email account, they can just simply have a link sent to them and they'll be prompted to log in or reset their password. No problem at all. Okay, so this is kind of what we're talking about, Bill. So your question was, how do you recreate a username and password? So what would happen would be that if your person is, they're in IWDS, then what you could do is go into your customer group. And I don't have it here. I blocked out the information, so we didn't have any personal information here. But you'll have, as I mentioned before, there's two ways. You can either, when you go to log in, one of the options is forgot password. You simply put in your email account, and you can have that sent to your email. The second option is to include your username, date of birth, and the answer to your secret question. And when you use that option, then you have the ability to go in and update your password. Now, you as a case manager have the ability to see their username, date of birth, and answer to the secret question. So if you know of a person that doesn't have their username or account information, then you could just go into your customer group, look up, John Doe, and they can use those three pieces of information to recover their password or reset their password. You also have their contact information, and then over here you have a link to their customer summary, which is the activities and their pre- and post-assessment results. You have the employer evaluation or the worksite evaluation. You have the observational assessment, which you can complete for that person. And then you also have a link for their skills and interest profilers. So if they don't have a skills and interest profile completed, then it just says no saved assessments. But once that is available, once they've completed it and saved it, then you'll be able to click on that link and view that information. So before we go to our next steps, I want to provide a demonstration. And I'm going to share my computer screen. Now, I have another screen up here, so I'll try to keep an eye on your questions. If I don't answer a question right away, I'm not ignoring you. I'll do that as soon as I realize that it's there. Okay. So I'm going to take one step back for those that are new to WorkNet. What you can do at the top of your screen is click on full screen, and it'll make what we call each of these a pod. It'll make that pod full screen, so it's easier for you to see. Now, so go to illinoisworknet.com and click on individuals. Now, I'm already logged in, so it recognizes that I'm logged in. It says welcome Natasha, and you can see along when you're logged into Illinois WorkNet, you'll be able to see your messages, skills, activities, and notes. You can also save your shortcuts as well. I'm going to go ahead and click on messages because, as I mentioned before, within your customer groups, you can send messages. With your messages, if you've missed a few of them, or maybe you've changed emails, those are all available in your messages. So your messages would appear here as well. If you have a skills profile, if you've completed one of these profilers, then this is where they would go and view their stored results. And this is where they would, on the Activities tab, this is where they would complete their pre-assessment or complete their activities. So for each of the activities, it marks it as either complete or not complete. When you go to this page, one of the links within the activities, it'll open up into a smaller window, and this is simply so that they can click on each of these links and they don't lose their place within their activity. So once they have gone through these steps, then they just answer the questions, and once they answer the question, then they can save their activity notes. Once they save their activity notes, then again, they'll be able to access them later on, but then you as a case manager will be able to access them as well. Okay. Jim, I see that you have the audio is difficult, but let me go ahead and give you our conference call number, and you'll be able to call in. And you don't need a passcode. So you can go ahead and call into that number. That's fine. Okay, with the activities, you can also go to the Summer Youth Employment Program, and if you have like a best practice and you'd like us to consider that to create a new activity, we have that ability to create new activities as well. Okay, I'm going to just go to the step guides just to give you a real brief overview. As I mentioned before, use the icon-based approach to walk a person through these steps. They can click on the icon. Whenever they click on the icon, they are taken to a page with recommended steps. So they can still navigate to these other pages using these icons along the top. They just simply click on them. They also have a video, and then either different worksheets or web pages or activities that are recommended. Your step guide. Then we also have a prepare section, and the prepare section is set up so that it's basically, the put in order for a process. So before, when you're getting prepared for your job search, you really just need to get organized. You need to take a look at what you're interested in, what skills do you already have, what skills are transferable, setting some goals, looking at wages and trend information, finding out what types of jobs are available. We do have Explore Job information, and this is an example of, as I mentioned before, our web service. So you can just simply enter in, maybe do your skills and interests, and says, yep, in nursing is something that you might want to consider. So you can go to your Explore Job information. Licensed nurse, and for any of these occupations that you select, you have an additional menu that pops up. So you can look at employment and outlook, you can look at wages and trends, you can look at certification information, working conditions, and you can also look at different training programs. So the idea is that we provide you with the resources and the information for you to make an informed decision of what type of job that you might be interested in. And this is, again, as a web service that's brought into Illinois WorkNet, so it's seamless to the end customer. We have different resources that you can see here. One of our new resources that we've added is the skills wheel. And the skills wheel is based on national and state standards assessments and work readiness resources. We needed to have a way to crosswalk them all, and we also had to have more of an interesting way to present this information to customers, because there's a lot of information and it doesn't have to be boring. So we have our skills wheel, so as you go over it, it'll have an image for you, and then you click on the image, and we have three basic steps. So the first one, especially you can use this if you're in, working with youth or in a work group, workshop. We have different scenarios that you could say, well, what would you do in this situation? And it's related to communication skills. And then these are tied to the skills that employers want. So this is the information that's been crosswalked among the different state and national resources. And we have our skill area, and then we have definitions to further define what the skill area is. And then we have additional tools and resources that are available to help you with the interactive component yet, but that is something that we will be making interactive so that the person can go through, and it's basically like an activity. They can self-identify where they are with this skill level. So we also have them broken down. If there's management skills that are available or that have been identified for that particular area, then within this scenario you'll have a management answer as well. And then the next step is just basically next steps, like how do you use this information and help you preparing for your job search, and then to lead you into additional resources and tools as well. So to talking about a career ladder and comparing it to a rock wall as opposed to just a straight up and down ladder, basically putting in all the different skills that you need and explaining that you have skills and not everybody has the same destination, and people have different, there's more than one way to achieve your goals. So that information is available under Prepare as well. I'm going to go over to Learn, and under Learn page we have all different types of resources. Again, one of the things is for finding education and training programs, but also, just even basic skills. If you have a person that's going to an interview and they know that there's a typing test, we have a typing test here, so you might as well practice before you ever get there. Or if you know you're going to have to take a math test, you might as well go and practice and practice some of your math skills before you get to the interview. We have education, financial aid. That's where you can add local content, and then different types of training programs and finding WIA certified training providers. But what I had mentioned before, and it's based on, they're broken into new user, intermediate user, and technical professional. If you have a person that's just brand new and they don't even know how to use a mouse, you can go back to the new computer skills user and click on this TLN Technology Committee, and this website will literally walk them through just using the keyboard and learning how to use the mouse and filling out forms and so forth. We've added our resources available down here, and with a rating system. So it's kind of like a peer-to-peer. They can take a look and see what other people that are in their situation, how they've rated these resources, so they don't feel like they're wasting their time. They encourage you just to take a look at those and take a look at the new and intermediate and technical resources that are available. Under Find a Job or Find Jobs, this obviously are the tools to help you your customers find jobs. And we have the different approaches. We have the job search approach, which is, job search, which uses spidering. It's powered by Indeed, and they can simply, enter in the search criteria, and the information will be presented within Illinois WorkNet, so they don't ever have to leave WorkNet. But we have a job search tool. We also have the Illinois WorkNet posting, so you can post your jobs, or you can post your local job boards, a link to your local job boards, because I know a lot of you already have your own job boards on your site, and so that's just another way to make a connection. We have the potential employers, which is kind of like the yellow pages for employers. So employers and their contact information and a little bit of information about their company. So you can use that for cold calling, and that's provided or powered by the Info USA. We also have information for networking. We're going to be removing this workplace skills because we just recently added a new one, and then more information for starting a business. We have the services tab, and on the services tab, we have, again, different types of resources that are available to you. But I didn't mention it on the other areas, but it's on Prepare, Learn, Find Jobs. You do have an area on the right-hand side where it says Local Interest, and this is where you can put additional content, local content as well. Under Find a Location, we have all different types of, we have many Illinois WorkNet partners, and we have several types. We have what we call access sites that are open to the public, and access sites that are open to the public are similar to your resource. We can't allow, just the general public to come in and use their resource rooms. And then we have dissemination sites, and dissemination sites don't have computers available to their customers with internet access, but yet they still provide a service, and they direct people to locations. Okay, I did see a question come in, broken audio, where can I locate the typing test? And that's available on the Learn section under Basic Skills. Okay, so if you're looking for a location, maybe your resource room is completely packed and you need to find another location or a location that has there, then you can click on Show Hide Services, and then they can see the services that are available for that location. Okay, the skills. Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to switch over to the Workforce Professionals pathway. Let me go ahead. For the Workforce Professionals pathway, whenever you go to log into the Workforce Professionals pathway, you click Workforce Professionals, enter here, and you'll be prompted to log in. Once you're logged in, you have your customer groups. This is your dashboard, and you'll see you'll have some modifications or enhancements, with the tabs and so forth as we move forward. But for right now, you can click on Customer Groups and New. Customers, and now with mine, I'm not in IWDS, so this is what it would look like if you're a person doesn't have a case manager role within IWDS. So once you click on your customer group, then you'll be able to see their login information, or information that they need to recover their password, their contact information, but then you'll be able to see, if I click on customer summary, if they, I didn't mean to click on this person. They don't have any information. My next person does. But my customer summary page, I click on the customer summary page. If they've been in a previous program, then you'll be able to see their past program information as well as their pre- and post-assessment scores. If not, then it won't be there. But otherwise, we have the My Activities, and you can say, click here to look at the details for their interest profiler results. It was artistic, realistic, social, said that I should be a nurse, and so forth. And you can also see my activity, my pre- and post-assessment results. We also have the employer evaluation and the observational evaluation. And I'm going to go ahead and click one let me go back. Sorry. I'm going to click a new evaluation. And as I mentioned before, this is developed by the Chicago Workforce Investment Council. Excuse me. And they have the different areas that they would be assessing, and they've developed a rubric for each of those. So when you click on the I bubble, the information bubble, or the link for that area that you're assessing, underneath that it provides a rubric for that's available. And then to pass the observational assessment, then you just click on, they would need to score yes for all the fundamentals and 2 or higher for all the other areas. So I'll just make one so that so you can see what it looks like. I submit my survey. And this is supposed to be a tool that's used to help your student understand what's expected and to help them enhance that skill. So we have the different areas that's being reviewed, the rating, and the description that's within the rubric for each of those. So you can see that this one is low. That's an area that they would need to work on. And so that would also, what we'll do, have a link because this customer does have an interest profile, and I just I'm taken to the page, I click on the scores, and these are the interest profiler results for this individual. Okay. And then you can also access the employer evaluation. So as we add more assessments, this is how you'll be able to access those individuals. I can also send my customers an email. So I can send them an email only, I can send them just a user message, or I can send both of them. I just simply type in my subject and my text and hit the send message, and it'll send it to everyone in my group. Now, as I mentioned before, we are working on adding subgroups. So all this information is in the instructions. Types of resources that are available for you under case management. I encourage you to take a look at that, and I cannot always make changes, so you would just send them to the info and let me know if there's additional resources or some updates that you would like to suggest for those pages. We do welcome your feedback. This is an example of that process flow. It's just simply an image, and you can click on the link and it takes you to that page that it's referring to. Then there's also a text version. Okay. I had mentioned that we do have the marketing materials. The marketing materials, we have accessible materials, fonts, logos, print materials, so we have flyers, brochures, we have the premium, so you have like your mouse pads, we have banners, we have web banners, all different types of graphics and resources that are available to use. And then we also have an area for photos and icons. So you can use some of those photos that we have of my worknet in a nutshell. And let me go ahead, I want to go back to our meeting because I do want to collect, we just have our few polling questions that I want to go over in some of our next steps. So real quick, we'd like you to log into workNet, take a look at the resources. Please, this is in your PowerPoint, but to register online for the CERA course, the webinar to cover the CERA course. And if you have any questions, you can always contact the info@LMI WorkNet. So if you don't mind, go ahead and answering the polling questions. I would appreciate that. I see there was a question here. How do I reset a customer's LMI skills match password? I don't know because we don't have access to, I know that people can reset their LMI skills match password, but we just simply, we don't have that interface with LMI skills match. So, but I can ask somebody and find out for you. Or maybe someone else that's one of our participants knows. Question is, why is it important to use a real, preferably appropriate email address? It's all the above. We want to make sure that they get their customer email, their email to let them know about the WorkNet account, and that'll save you time and energy because then you don't have to look up everybody's information. We want you to be able to communicate with your customers, and also that provides a good way for them to communicate with employers because especially if they use the Indeed job search, most people are going to have some way of providing that information online. Okay, do you have to put your IWDS customers in a group? Nope, they're automatically put in there. And what can you do through customer groups? You can do all of it except view resumes. So if that's something that people see as a significant need, then we can do that as well. Okay. Okay. Well, with LMI Skills Match, it is a tool that's available. It's just, it matches the skills as opposed to, it's one way, it's one approach to finding a job. And with LMI WorkNet, we provide, the additional resources and ways for finding a job, like networking, potential employers, job boards, and so forth. I'm somewhat familiar with Torque, but not enough to actually really comment on that. So we do have a lot of resources. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, and please, fill out the last one. It's one or more of the resources or tools that you plan to use with your customers. I do appreciate all your feedback. We do have a report on the summer youth. They seem to, I think one of the things that they liked most about the system is I don't know that they didn't realize all the information that was available. I think they liked being able to, look at the different jobs, exploring them. They wanted to add more interaction, more activities and that type of thing, so that's what we did. So we have that report available too. Okay, looks like some people are still typing. Well, that's all I have for today. I thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'll stay on the computer. And if you have any more questions, please just let us know. It looks like there are a few people typing all at one time. And please, again, keep in touch and take a look at your customer groups. And